Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's a house!
Hello, freakazoids! How the hell's it going out there? Alright. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. I was maybe going to do a show yesterday, but I figured, my parents came over. Kids were here. Yeah, there was a lot of mess around. We just didn't really have time. So, sorry about that. But I did have something I was wondering if you guys would be interested. Well, tonight's one of these nights where RAIN, that one charity that we donate to, the Violence Against Women, which is appropriate for the topic tonight, they'll double whatever we send in. So I don't know if you guys would be interested, but if we can get to, I don't know, I was thinking of giving him $1,000 but if we get to 500 in here, so I don't know if a lot of people will be here to make that something that's even possible, but if we get to 500 in here, I'll donate 1,000 to RAIN, and then that'll be 2,000. It's 2 for 1. They have some donor that's matching. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anybody interested in that? We don't have a lot of people here, so it might be kind of tough. Okay. Angelina Susan Ingram is here. Okay, good for you. We can see that in your username. It's right there. Doesn't sound like you guys are interested. Not one person replied. Thanks, Bruce Holloway and Michelle H. up there. I'll ask again. Is anybody interested in doing that? We can match it 2 to 1, where I'll send in 1,000. It'll be part of the monthly thing, but at least it'll get us double. It runs out. I don't know. It's just they're doing it right now. Not sure when it ends, but they sent me an email. Hello? Anybody there? We're already back to this crap. Just unreal. Let's see. Thanks, Mary Lou. Yeah, it was pretty fun. It's a good one. Let's see. My question was, is anybody interested in that? And not one person said, yeah. Not one. That's wild. That is absolutely crazy. Well, anyways, let's just get to the case then. We've got this in Florida. This stepdad killed his wife and then shot the stepdaughter in the face over some, I don't know, like football game or something. I mean, it's just unbelievable. People are crazy. So I think this guy right here, he killed her and then shot her too in the face. And here's sort of on their website. This is Grady Judd, by the way. I have a press conference from that. Polk County Sheriff's Office is investigating a murder-suicide that occurred 3 days before Christmas. Preliminary information is as follows. Just before 11 p.m. on Monday, December 22nd, so it's a few days ago, 2025, the PCSO ECC received a 911 call from Lemon Avenue in the Highland City area of Lakeland, during which a woman reported that a 12-year-old neighbor ran to her house and asked her to call 911 due to his stepfather and mother fighting. And the mother apparently asked him to go do that. The child reported hearing a single gunshot as he ran from his home. He ran to the neighbor for help because his mother told him to call 911 as an argument was escalating between the adults. According to the investigation so far, detectives determined that 47-year-old Jason Kenny had been inside his shed. So he's got an actual shed on his property. This is where it took a while to find him. I don't know why it didn't show up first on the site, but they live in this house and there's sheds right over here, so he's probably in that shed right there. I mean, that's a shed too, it looks like, so it could be, either one. I mean, it's hard to get a good view. Probably from over here we could. Yeah, so I mean, that's a shed also. And this is from February of 2024, so likely they were here. Let's see. When the deputies arrived a few minutes later, they located the victim deceased in the living room with a gunshot wound to her head. They also located a 13-year-old girl, the victim's daughter, in her bedroom with 2 gunshot wounds. She was transported to a local hospital where she is in critical but stable condition. They also found the couple's 1-year-old baby girl asleep in her crib unharmed. After shooting his wife, Jason Kenny fled from the area in his truck and called his sister, who is not currently in Florida. He told her that he had done something really bad and that he was not going to jail. He told her that she'd see it on the news. He drove to his deceased father's home. I don't know if the father still lived there, but he went to a home that his father used to live at on 10th Street South, so I found that address too, in the city of Lake Wales, and went into a shed on the property. When deputies arrived and yelled for him to come outside, they heard a single gunshot. They made entry into the shed and found Jason deceased from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head. 3 days before Christmas, this man shot and killed his wife, shot his daughter, and then shot and killed himself. This is horrific, but destroying a family and mental health of these children so close to Christmas is specifically horrific. And we will do everything we can to help this family get through this difficult time. Grady Judd. Thanks, Michelle H. And Bruce Holdaway. There's that. And then his father lived, let's see, not too, right over here. In this house. It's one of those ones that's, you know, the only house in the area that's completely surrounded by trees, and you really can't, even when you go down to the street view here, it's hard to see what shed he may have been in because it's completely, I mean, is that his vehicle there? I mean, it's hard to even tell. Looks like there's part of the house. I don't know where the shed is at all. You know, it doesn't even matter what angle you come in from, it's completely surrounded. Yeah, maybe from over here you might be able to, let's see if we go like way over here to the side, see if we can somehow see a shed through the trees. I don't know. I don't think so. So, you know, apparently there's a shed somewhere in there, and he did that. But that's where his dad lived. This is 10th Street, and that was the address for his father using Ben Verified. All right, so let's watch the press conference. This is Grady Judd, the legend.
Huh?
There he goes.
Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. As you know, anytime you report on a murder, it's a sad situation. It is hugely sad when it's around Christmas. And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse. And it started last night in Highland City. Jason Kinney.
What do you mean infamous, Grady? What do you mean by that, Janet? We're going to have to pause the show on that one. When you say infamous, that's a negative term. Grady Judd is probably the best sheriff in the entire country. So what do you mean by infamous? Go ahead. We'll just wait for the explanation. Got about 10 seconds to respond, and we'll have to put you on timeout. The 22nd. But they just did a press conference, I think, today. Are you there, Janet? You got one more, about 5 seconds more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go.
Who's 47, is married to Crystal Kinney. And Jason's been drinking during the evening. And he's watching his football team, the 49ers, play football. Well, they're having a good night. They're winning. In fact, they won big. Sometime toward the end of the game, at around 11 o'clock, an argument began when Crystal suggested they watch something else on television. And the argument got really heated. Crystal told her 12-year-old son to go call 911. So the 12-year-old flees to the neighbor's house in order to dial 911, and as he's leaving the house, he hears a gunshot. Deputies arrive in less than 5 minutes of the call for service, and when we enter the house, we see that Crystal Kinney, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse. We go into the bedroom and we see a 13-year-old child, a little girl. she shot twice. She shot in the shoulder and she shot in the face. We later learned the bullet in the face hit her on the bridge of the nose, went straight up and out the top of her head.
Jeez.
She is alive in critical condition, but stable at Lakeland Regional Health, and is alert and talking.
That's crazy.
That's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
Jason shot her twice and intended to kill her. He didn't, however, shoot his biological child, thank God, who was 1 year old and in a crib. He shot his stepdaughter.
Probably would have shot
He didn't get a chance to shoot his stepson who had run to dial 911. Jason then jumps into his vehicle and flees the scene just prior to deputies arriving. He is going toward Lake Wells. He calls his sister in upstate New York and he says, I've done something very, very bad. Very bad. I did something terrible. And this is the last time you'll ever talk to me. You'll see me on the news, but I am not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life. So he goes to his father's house, which apparently is currently in probate. His father's deceased, and there's a friend staying there. When he gets to the house, he immediately goes into a shed. Deputies now are tracking Jason. We set up a perimeter and start yelling for Jason to come out of this shed, which is adjacent to the home. And the deputies hear a single gunshot. When we make entrance into the shed, we find that Jason has shot himself in the forehead, and he too is deceased. I want you to think about this a minute. As the investigations unfolded during the night, and we're still in the preliminary stages, and as I always say when we talk soon, whatever we give you today is subject to modification. We found a note that at some time in the past Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again, this is not the way the family should be, you need God. Crystal, by the way, goes to church every Sunday. We don't know when she wrote the note. It's not dated, there's no time, there's no indication, but it was open. So did she write it, as they argued earlier in the evening, or had it been some period of time? We can't determine that. We also were able to talk to the 12-year-old, our Christmas miracle. She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway. This is things that are never supposed to happen. And certainly we are all very, very happy that our little 13-year-old girl is, from every indication, going to survive and thrive. But the investigation's still underway. But this is a family disturbance that apparently had gone on for some time. We talked to another family member, and that family member said, oh, he's been beating on her for a while. So we've checked our records to see if we received any calls at the residence, and we have not. He has never been arrested for domestic violence. But bottom line is, 3 days before Christmas, he shot and killed his wife. He shot his 13-year-old stepdaughter twice and intended to kill her. Called his sister and confessed that he did something terrible, and then rather than be arrested, shot and killed himself. Quite frankly, I don't want to sound sinister, but the only thing he did right that night was shoot himself after those horrible deeds. If he felt that way, he could have taken himself out and not hurt those two beautiful people.
Right.
So it's sad anytime. It's horrific anytime. He had a chance. He could have gotten mental health help. We'd have done anything we could for him and the family in advance. But he just absolutely destroyed a family, literally, and the mental health of two children without their mama and an infant that will grow up without a mother and a father 3 days before Christmas. Any questions?
You said the 12-year-old that's asked not to be shot at. Did you mean the 13-year-old?
I meant the 13-year-old. 12-year-old was the boy, the 13-year-old was the girl. The 13-year-old girl begged not to be shot. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. And he shot her twice anyway. The 12-year-old had fled out of the house, and the 12-year-old, heard the first gunshot as he was leaving.
Was it that neighbor that ended up being able to call 911?
He went to a neighbor's house, and 911 was dialed from the neighbor's house.
Is it?
The gun registered to him?
We don't know who the gun's registered to, and you don't have to register guns in Florida, so that we will do a background on the gun, but it's too early to determine ownership. But the reality is, in Florida, we don't register guns. So.
And I know you said he didn't have there hadn't been prior domestic violence related calls. Did he have any other, history of any sort of violence?
No criminal history.
What happens to these children now?
Well, right now they're with the grandparents. DCF's call. DCF will take custody of them. They are placed right now with grandparents. And long term, the DCF and the grandparents will have to work that out. Because, I understand that the 12-year-old boy and the 13-year-old girl who was shot, that their father is in California someplace, has never had any interaction with the children. That's the early information. And of course, the infants, mom and dad are deceased. So the entire family was destroyed. And I must tell you, our homicide detectives are distraught. When they go in there, there's a beautiful Christmas tree with lots of Christmas presents under the tree, just like the nuclear family should be. And so they said, we see this big, beautiful Christmas tree. We see the presents wrapped underneath the tree. We see the evidence of a wonderful Christmas about to occur in this house. She goes to church. She tells him, you need God. You're slipping into abuse of drugs and alcohol. And it ends up this way. And quite frankly, it's not surprising. Some women protect their husbands, and she never called on him. But apparently, he's been known for injuring her in the past.
What's your message, just especially since it's Christmas time, to other families? I mean, I know this is probably the worst possible.
Sure, my message to everyone is there's always help, free help. Dial 911 and say, I need help. Call
That's the kid that ran and got
human services.
to tell the neighbor.
We'll all provide help.
She's killed.
None of this had to occur.
Didn't kill their
There's
own
no
kid.
reason for this to occur.
Shot the
How does an
bus guy.
argument over a television program end up with a murder, an attempted murder, and a suicide? That should never happen. So call for help. We have all kinds of services. We will come to you. We do house calls. We'll come to you and help you. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt a loved one.
You think the letter could have been what started this argument?
Have no idea. Have no idea about we have no idea that whether or not she wrote the letter last night or this has been a build-up over time. That will be part of the investigation into the future. But it was there, and it was open for the detectives to see. It's not like we had to search it up in the house.
You said it was found on him.
No, it was found in the house.
You said that this was in Highland City. Where specifically?
Yeah, we normally don't give the address of victims, and And certainly we have victims that are still alive that potentially may live there. So,
I don't think so.
okay.
Yeah. A 13-year-old.
Now that that's over, you all have a Merry Christmas, okay? But tell everybody there's help. So depression, we see depression go up. We see suicides go up. And all of this didn't have to happen. Okay? God bless y'all all. Bye-bye.
Crazy. Yeah, it's just sick people out there. So this guy right here killed her, shot her twice. I guess a bullet went right under her nose and then out the top of her head, somehow lived. This kid right here, he's the one that ran across the street to get help, like 911. And I imagine he's also a stepchild. So it's like this guy right here, stepchild, and then this baby is probably one between both of them. So he didn't kill the baby, but he probably would have shot this kid had he still been there, the 12-year-old, I would guess. But hey, is there any chance you guys, like I was saying earlier, how about we'll switch it up? If we get to 250, I'll donate $500 to Rain, and Rain has a donor that's going to match, and Rain is violence against women. Okay? Couldn't be more appropriate. I brought it up a few minutes ago, and not one soul helped support that. So if we can do that again, that'd be great. I'm just trying to figure out ways to reach the goals and also do the stuff that we always do, sending in thousands of dollars a month. Do you guys have the ability to? That would be fantastic. Hope I don't have to ask 1,700 times again. So there you go. Crazy. This is the house right here. He was apparently in a shed over here. Then he goes in the house and they argue. And then he went from that shed to another shed on his dad's property, way over here. And went into his shed on this property and shot himself when police approached. And this property was the dad that passed away. So I don't know if anybody was living there anymore, or they owned the property, how that was. Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of strong momentum. It'd be great to, it's just, I don't know, it's really frustrating. I just watched another one of the shows talking about, the Tyler Robinson case and the conspiracy theorists, and they're just doing really well, and we are over here doing regular shows, and it's crazy. All right, and then the other day I was going to do these, I think it was on Christmas Eve. There's a couple just random cases that I found that were on December 26th-ish, right around that time, that have never been solved. So, take a look at those. They're short, not really long. Oh, man, what's going on in here, you guys? It's just unreal. I guess we are not going to do the matching. It's really rare when Rain and the other guys do matching without having an employer that does it. There's some benefactor that was going to double anything. Thanks, Linda Howe. Yeah, and this one only had one article in all the newspapers, etc. But it was on this article's December 26th, 1991. And it's weird. I looked all around, couldn't find anything on her. Yeah, it's just not there. I mean, there's another person with the same name that was a criminal. That's the only thing that shows up even on Google. Now we're currently at 1/10 of a normal nightly goal, you guys. On a night where I was trying to get it where if we got 500 in, we would donate 1,000 to Rain and they would double it, making 2,000. And we can't even get past $35. I mean, it's ridiculous. I do the shows. That's all I can do. All right, anyways, we got up here. This one says, slain woman's body found on West 30th by bicyclist. And this is the only article of any kind anywhere. So it says, youths riding bicycles around found the body of a slain Jacksonville mother lying on a dead-end street near her northwest Jacksonville home yesterday morning. The victim, Angie Hoover, 29, was shot at least twice and also appeared to have been beaten, police said. Police did not say how long she'd been dead or who last saw her. No arrests have been made. Miss Hoover's fully clothed body was discovered at about 9:30 a.m. So she'd been beaten. That's usually kind of personal. Miss Hoover's fully clothed body was discovered about 9:30 a.m. on West 30th near Spring Grove. So this is in, this is Florida. So I guess we could try to put this in here really quick. This case will never be discussed ever again by any other YouTuber ever, because that's just the way it is. You know, they do the smart thing and cover all the cool big cases and get all of you guys excited to help support them, but the rest of us schmucks who cover random cold cases, you can forget it. All right, there we go. So this is in Jacksonville, Florida. Probably not. Same state. Jacksonville, Florida, and then they also said Spring Grove Street. West 30th Street near, so Spring Grove Street. Alright, right there. And then it says West 30th. Okay, there's West 30th Street right here. And then Spring Grove, does it continue on down here? It's weird, because it kind of stops right there. And then West 30th is right here. Near Spring Grove. So maybe it's just... it's weird. Why would they word it like that? West 30th. Does that also count right here? And there's West 30th there. Hey, thanks, Jeff Neal. I mean, I don't mean to complain. I just think it sucks. That we can have a night where it's 2-to-1 on Rain, and we just can't get any support to make that happen. You know, it's not fun. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense because they're both streets are parallel. You know, and West 30th goes like this. No, I mean, they're perpendicular, but doesn't continue down here unless... Oh, wait, there it is. Spring Grove over here. There it is. So there was Spring Grove there, and then Spring Grove here. And then, so really, right there. Probably in this, you know, whatever this trailer park or whatever the hell this is right here. So there you go. I mean, all this has is one article. It's absolutely nuts. So that's where her body was found. Alright. So we're down here, 30th Street near Grove Street. Or 30th Street, West 30th Street near Spring Grove Street in Northwest Quadrant, said Asa Higgs, a police spokesman. The spot is adjacent to the Southeast Recycling. So that's what that was. Right? That other that area right next to it. Maybe that's what this is. Let me see if I put places on. That's a food. I don't know where the recycling is. Maybe they changed it. That's a truck parking lot. Yeah, it's not over there. So it was on. Well, the body was found on West 30th. So it's on this street, near this street. So somewhere just like right there. Miss Hoover was separated from her husband and had been living with a boyfriend. So it absolutely is going to be related to whatever this is right here. Miss Hoover was separated. So it would seem likely that not the new boyfriend, but the person you're separated from would do this, but they just haven't been able to prove it. I mean, that's usually what happens in these cases. She was separated from her husband and had been living with a boyfriend in an apartment complex on Bessie Circle East. So at least we can get that one. Let's see. Bessie Circle East. Not far from there. Right, based on the speed. Man, my phone's just going nuts. Hold on. Gotta turn off. Alright guys, if you guys can please help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Alright. There. So I don't know where the apartment, maybe it's just like a condo or something. And also these look new, so there must have been something there before. Let's see. Back in, yeah, that was probably it right there. See, that looks like an apartment. This is 2002, 1999, yep. And then that's not there anymore. See, it's just slabs of cement. So that's where it was. That's crazy. Isn't that weird how you can do that? So she lived here. The rest of them are homes, so I don't know. You know, that's the only place that would have been an apartment back then. See, there's still even 2006, 2004, these are all homes, but there's one apartment right there. A neighbor said the boyfriend, appearing distraught, mentioned the death to her yesterday afternoon and then disappeared. Hoover was separated from her husband and had been living with a boyfriend in an apartment complex on Bessie Circle East. Her relatives said the apartment is about 3 blocks from where her body was found. Really? I guess it was pretty close, yeah. Yeah, that's just right there. The Blazers play well. They just don't. They haven't win. I watch every single game. I'd rather watch them on television than go to a game. I don't like having to, drive there, find a place to park, all that kind of stuff. Cindy. But you guys, how do we get the support for the channel tonight? I really don't know what I'm doing differently than some other night. But I'd like to try to reach the goal. Which we're not even close to. We're at 1/6, not even that. Probably 1/7 of the goal. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that'd be great. This channel relies on you guys. There is zero ad revenue of any kind coming in on the live streams unless you have thousands and thousands of people. And that's it. I don't know what the deal is tonight. And thanks to those who have supported. Appreciate it. A neighbor said the boyfriend, appearing distraught, mentioned the death to her yesterday afternoon and then disappeared. The apartment was sealed with police evidence tape. The news of Miss Hoover's death shocked her family, who saw a television report about an unidentified body being found and didn't learn it was Miss Hoover until later. We couldn't believe it was her, said June Hoover, a cousin. She had so many friends. Lenora Carter, a neighbor, said she was fond of Miss Hoover. Miss Carter said she didn't have a telephone, so Miss Hoover would often let her use her phone. She was a wonderful person to me, Miss Carter said. She would always give. Miss Hoover, who worked at the Townsend Farms chicken processing plant in Mixon Town section of Jacksonville, had 2 sons, but neither lived with her, her relatives said. One son's first birthday is tomorrow. Miss Hoover's death is the 6th since Friday and the 115th slang in Jacksonville this year. There is a ton of people from Jacksonville in that database. So that's it. But man, doesn't that sound like, usually those cases are the person that you're separated from, and now you're with living in with the boyfriend, and that's like a really volatile situation. Well, all right, you guys. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys had a really good Christmas. Thank you to Michelle H., Bruce Holdaway, Mary Lou, Bruce Holdaway, Michelle H., Bruce Holdaway, and Michelle H. We had 3 different people who thought the channel was worthy. And we'll have to figure out a different night to, hopefully they'll still have that matching. But anyways, thanks everybody. Hope you guys had a great holiday. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've attempted to fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. Well, now I have to say thank you to Carl over there. Thank you. Wow, that was very kind of you. 20 gifted channel memberships. Very cool. Ooh. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna donate $500 anyways, regardless of the poor support, because I want to make sure we get the double. I mean, it's hard to pass up 1,000. So, yeah. Since even if you, I don't know what the deal is with you guys. I've never had it where I've said, "Hey, guys, we can do this," and had so little interest. You know, it's just crazy. It's unreal, really. All right, let's see. Let me do this. I was gonna try to do 1,000, but can't do that. It says now through, I guess it goes through the 31st. Every dollar is $2 to support 24/7 hotline support for sexual assault prevention, education, and much needed justice for survivors of sexual violence. That's what RAIN is for. They also test a backlog of rape kits. Hey, you know what, Linda? I'm ungrateful for idiots like you. Okay, I am really frustrated that we have a night like this where we have an opportunity, and so few people were not interested. And I think that makes you ungrateful, Linda. So get the hell out of here. You're a pile of shit. All right, let's see. We got that one, and not going to add that on there. I mean, it's like if you do a show and you're trying to raise money and you get $30 come in, while I'm appreciative of that, it doesn't feel good, you know, at all. Yeah, see, we got the trolls are coming in tonight. That's what they're doing. And by the way, you know what one of these trolls did, you guys? Listen to this. These same assholes that are typing in the chat right now, they actually pretended to be one of the freaks in here. And would, you know, kept writing back all these things about what's going on, and it was all bull crap. And I didn't know it. I didn't know it at all. And so now we're working on, you know, I mean, I don't know what the hell to tell you guys, but they pretended to be one of the moderators in need of money. Okay? It was unreal. But it sounded pretty legit, you know? Like, okay, I didn't really understand, but can you imagine that that's what these people have, that's what's in their mind to do. So, yeah, I'm not in a great mood because I just found that out today. You know, I'm sure you guys don't really give a shit, but let's see. Yeah, it was pretty weird. It was pretty weird. Gotta tell you. All right, here we go. Let's see. We have all these options on here. Your gift to support survivors will help create a world. Okay, what are the top reasons? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, just like everything, really. I mean, and we've been doing this for years. Yeah, I mean, it just, I mean, I guess you could just click them all, you know? I mean, they're just, man, who doesn't want all those things? All right, I don't know what next page is. Hold on. Oh, they want to do it. I don't really want to do it. That exclusive donor survey, would we understand? What? Oh. Did it go through? Just a second. I think it did, because I did it before. Yeah, there we go. All right, so right here, there it is at the bottom of the screen. Rain. So we just did that. December 26, 2025, $500, and they matched it. All right, so that's why I'm frustrated that you guys, we could have, I wanted to do 1,000 if we got the 500. I was going to do 500 if we got the 250. And really just because, well, thanks, Chris O'Connell. And then also Carl there. I said, you know what, I'll do it anyways. Okay? Because that's what I wanted to do tonight. So there you go. That's another 500, and that puts, see, that's what these trolls don't give a shit about. They always, and yes, it is, it's very frustrating. You know, I've told you guys this. I think my channel is one of the few channels that deserves the support from the people, because we make a difference here at the end of every month. It's just a routine, a ritual, and sometimes during the month, financially for other organizations. And we put out the factual information in cases where that's all I do. Okay, I don't do the conspiracy theories, despite people wanting to do the conspiracy theories. Okay, and so if you're out there supporting channels, you would think mine would be the type that people would support, not the other idiots out there who don't give two shits about the truth. They just want to put out this sensationalistic garbage for views. All right, and so that's the reality. Really frustrating. All right, so what do we got here? Great, it's all about entertainment. I mean, if you're not entertaining, then why should I have? Well, then don't, man. Jesus. All right, so we're at $273,000 we've given out since January of 2020. Can you name another channel that's done a tenth? No. Let's see. Now we'll move this one up to $44,051. Okay, that's how much we've given this year. And we've also, 1,000 of that is from, it's not even like it's not part of, it's just giving money away to people who needed it. It had nothing to do with like, you know, it's not a donation to a charity, no write-offs, there's nothing like that. Yeah, that is a fact. Yeah, I know it is. And yet you guys still send them, you know, maybe not you guys, but I mean you guys in general out there. It's really, really incredibly frustrating. And I keep saying the same thing, almost seems like every night now, because it has the same feel every single night. Yeah, the Krama community. It's really pretty much what it is. Right. So it would be great, you know, right now, because of two different people there, we got to, let's see, what are we at now? We need another $75 worth of something to get to the minimum goal level for the night. I can go over this other case that was also on right around Christmas that I had in this folder. Yeah, it just feels like there's like this. Anyways, it's I don't even know how to. There's this whole community of people that spend all of their time attacking and trying to discredit my channel and put out false information, things out of context. They put out, make word things a certain way, and it just sucks, really shit. Wow, Carl. Hey, thank you, man. Very cool. All right, so anyways, we just gave $500 to Rain, and the There's some benefactor or somebody out there that is matching it all until the end of the month. So that means we gave 1,000. We're responsible for that. Let's see. Yeah, we gave I think $450 out on Christmas Eve to people who needed it, and then before that, 500 and something earlier in the month to other people that needed it. So it was like $1,000, just No, they didn't imitate you. They just imitated one of the mods. They pretended to be them, and we had this back and forth. I was like, wow, I didn't realize. Basically what it was is there was a moderator that would help support the channel. Just wasn't a lot all the time. And then they wrote and said, hey, I wasn't able to... I can't send money anymore. My husband, he's all angry and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, you're not required to send anything in. And there's this whole back and forth that we were having, and I felt bad, So I was like, oh, shit, I didn't realize. And it was all bullshit, the whole thing, Can you imagine these people? That's what they have time to do. That's what they do. It's wild. It's crazy. And then I think there was other people, I don't know, but I don't know. Who cares? Jesus. Yeah, who's doing a challenge? Let's do a challenge. Maybe we can get somewhere. I've already... Oh, to get to that, we're at let's see, we're at 222 right now. We're at 222. Get to the $500 goal. Yeah, don't worry about it. We already did the donation. It's amazing that somebody would take the time to do that. And they were asking, I said, well, hey, I can send you some money back. And the person said, I said, I'll send you some money. I'll send you some money if you need it. And then the next day, I said, what's your PayPal? And they go, why? And then that's when I realized, wait, you must be a troll. But then the actual moderator was, it was weird because they were struggling. I don't know. It's really kind of a weird story, to be honest. Oh, look at that. Bad Juju will match 10 memberships. If other people do 10, they'll match 10. There you go. That's pretty sweet. Very cool, very cool. All right, I'm just going to go on to this one right here. Oh, yeah, I thought this one was pretty interesting, actually. It was pretty weird. Hey, thanks, Chris O'Connell. So, Alec, this is a guy. Let me put his... These are just other ones that were like at Christmas time. Alright, right there. And alright, let's do this. This is also in Florida. Tampa. Alex Garbizu was going to spend Christmas with his mother in Naples. Instead, his mother will be attending a funeral following a tragic Christmas Eve shooting and robbery along Interstate 75. I don't see the emojis that you guys are talking about. Let me see, hold on. I don't have the ability to go in and edit it for some reason. But anyways, did you guys see the challenge up there? There was, if you got 10 memberships, Bad Juju would match that, and we've already got 5 from Chris O'Connell. It's like the challenges just sort of disappear in people's heads. It's lately. It's crazy. Alex Garbizu was going to spend Christmas with his mother in Naples. Instead, his mother will be attending a funeral following a tragic Christmas Eve shooting and robbery along Interstate 75. This has never happened before in my family. Never, never, said emotional Elda Rosina, Garbizu's mother. On her way to Naples on Thursday, Garbizu, 32, Ronkonkoma, New York, and his cousin Ricardo, 29, were passing through Hillsborough County on I-75 about 8:30 p.m. when their car broke down about 2.5 miles south of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Hey, thanks, Carl. That's so crazy. I was about to end the show because I was just like, okay, I'm going to go keep working. I'm almost done with that, my animation video of the Brown University shooting, so I could just work on that. But then, you know, it's like, okay, well, let's donate the 500 to Rain because Carl sent the 120 memberships in, which is $100. I said, okay, well, go ahead and do that anyways. And then people out of nowhere started helping support the channel. Pretty amazing. So thanks, Chris O'Connell, Roger Smith, and then Carl got the other half of the 10, and then Bad Juju, who's a guy. Yeah, did the other 10. Well, thank you guys. Very, very cool. All right, but this is kind of interesting. So on their way to Naples, so he was driving, you know, like the cousin Ricardo, 29, and this guy were driving, and they're passing through Hillsborough County on I-75 about 8:30 p.m. when their car broke down about 2.5 miles south of Bruce B. Downs. Oh, there we go. We can just find that. Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Right there. And so this is on I-75. Okay, there's I-75. And then here's that. And then is it south? About 8:30 p.m. when their car broke down, about 2.5 miles south. Okay, so it's down here. So their car broke down pretty much if I just went like that. Yeah, right there. Right on that. Yeah, so the car broke down. Which side of the road? This one's creepy, actually. I just kind of briefly read some of it. All right, so then we're right here. When a motorist, okay, so let's just go back to this. On their way to Naples on Thursday, Garbizu, 32, of Ronkonkoma, New York, and his cousin Ricardo, 29, were passing through Hillsborough County on I-75 at about 8:30 p.m. when their car broke down about 2.5 miles south of Bruce Downs Boulevard. So Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. When a motorist offered them a ride to a service station. So the motorist offered them a ride to the service station. The two accepted. After stops at 2 stations, the motorist drove the 2 men to their car. As the 2 men started to get out, the motorist pulled a gun out and demanded money. I mean, how weird is that? Like, you drove them to these places and then took them back to the car, and then you demanded money. I don't know where to turn off the... Hold on, let me look. Maybe if I go to here. I don't know where to turn off on this. The way they changed their thing, you can't really go in and edit anything. Let's see, maybe. Oh, there we go. Maybe I can. All right, there we go. All right, I think it worked. Okay, Ricardo Garbizo fled into the woods. So the Garbizo cousins both handed over cash, and then the motorist shot Alex Garbizo in the torso, said Hillsborough County Sheriff spokesman Jack Espinoza. The shooting took place at about 9:15 p.m. Ricardo Garbizo fled, into the woods and sought help at home in a nearby Tampa Palms. When authorities arrived, Alex Garbizo was dead. And, so he's the one that the story is about. He got killed. Espinoza said authorities are searching for the motorist, described as a male with a tan complexion, 30 to 34, about 5'9", and weighing about 160 and 180 pounds. He had a mustache and thin beard with light brown hair, possibly pulled back in a ponytail. He was wearing black shorts and a red shirt and driving a 1970s era dark red or brown full-size pickup, Espinoza said. The pickup was in poor condition with a noisy engine. The suspect mentioned to the victims that he was a surveyor, Espinoza said. Surveyor. Police drove... that's probably bullshit, police drove to Rosini's home Thursday night to inform her of the slaying. She said her ex-husband and daughter were flying to Tampa from New York on Friday to consult with police and help with funeral arrangements. We really would like to help on this one, or they need help on that one. I've got all my family here for Christmas. I've been thinking about it all night. Anyone with information, call the police. That was on the 26th and the 27th. Police hunt for killer of stranded motorist. Police are searching for a man accused of shooting a stranded motorist to death on Interstate 75 after stopping to help. So that sounds like, I don't know. I mean, that's a little bit more than just robbing somebody, don't you think? Alex Garbizo, 33, was fatally shot late Thursday by a man who later demanded his wallet. I mean, they went back and, 2 different places. Garbizo and his 29-year-old cousin Ricardo had been traveling from New York City to Naples. Why didn't he just ask for money right when he got there? Or did he take him places and then have him sort of withdraw money somehow, And then he knew they had money at the time. Like, hey, you're probably going to need about $50 or something, something. Who knows? A man described as 30 to 34 years old and driving a battered pickup stopped to help and took the two cousins to a service station. So the person was driving a battered pickup truck. Stopped to help the two cousins to a service station to buy transmission fluid. Okay, there you go. A deputy said. Upon their return to the stranded car, Ricardo Gabizu told detectives that the man pulled a gun. So that's so weird. Why didn't he pull out a gun somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? Like, you pick them up. Why not drive them somewhere and just, put a gun on them and say, hey, That's what I don't get. Like, I don't really understand why they're shooting. Why you take them all these places and then drive them back to the car and then shoot. It's crazy. Let's see. Ricardo Gabizo threw himself to the ground after his cousin was shot, and the gunman jumped back into his truck and sped away. So upon their return to the stranded car, Ricardo Garbizu told detectives the man pulled a gun and demanded Alex's wallet before shooting him. And then Ricardo threw himself to the ground after his cousin was shot, and the gunman jumped back into his truck and sped away. Garbizo made his way to a nearby house, and the residents called police. Alex's mother, Claudia, said she had been worried because her son had not arrived as planned for the holiday. But then he called her later that night to tell her of the breakdown. She recalled thinking, "Oh, thank God, he's safe." But instead of her son, deputies came to her apartment. "When I saw the police, I knew it was bad," she said. All right, there's that one, and so that was 1992. 12/26 and 12/27, and then February of 93, another article shows up. What are you guys talking about? Oh. Hey, thanks for the coffee, Lisa Valenzuela. A can of coffee, all right. Thank you. And Merry Christmas. Yeah, I mean, even, like, the thing is, YouTube, they always take 30%. So if you bring 500 in, you have to make 500 on YouTube, you have to bring in, like, 700 and something. And we've sent out 500. But it's fine, you guys. Don't worry about it. At least we got a double. We put 500 in, and they got matched to 1,000. So that's good. So this is all the way in February. So let's see if there's anything different. Detectives look to travelers for clues. Holiday travelers might hold the key to helping solve the case of a would-be Good Samaritan who turned killer in a Christmas Eve robbery and shooting on Interstate 75. Alex Garbizo, 32, was shot in the back along Interstate south of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard after he and his cousin were robbed by a man who stopped on the pretense of helping them fix their stranded car. The cousin, Ricardo Garbizo, wasn't injured. After re-interviewing the cousin in New York earlier this month, detectives believe passing motorists may have been something that could have, that passing motorists may have been something that could provide a needed break in the case, I guess. Garbizo told detectives that after the 9:30 p.m. shooting, he stood in the southbound lane of traffic about 3 minutes and tried to flag down passing vehicles. Traffic slowed and some cars had to weave around him. That at 9:30 p.m. shooting, he stood in the southbound lane of traffic. about 3 minutes and tried to flag down passing vehicle. Traffic slowed and some cars had to weave around him, but no one stopped. See how shitty that is? Said Hillsborough Sheriff Sergeant John Marsicano. Maybe one of those motorists saw something, or they saw the suspect's truck. We are looking for any information. So far, leads in the case have dwindled, he said. Wednesday, the cousins were on their way from New York to Naples to visit relatives. Their Oldsmobile Cutlass was having mechanical problems, had broken down in North Carolina, and made it as far as northern Hillsborough before it stopped about 2.5 miles south of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Within 30 seconds of breaking down, Marsicano said a man in a pickup pulled in front of the Cutlass. Hey, thanks. Marty's Bar and Grill. Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks. Within 30 seconds of breaking down, Marsicano said a man in a pickup pulled in front of the... Man, that's crazy. Just that quick. That guy's... rolled down the window and offered them a ride. He drove them to 2 nearby gas stations. Doesn't that just seem crazy to you guys? That part. That a killer would pick you up and then drive you to 2 gas stations and then eventually drive you back to the car and then demand the money. I mean, I know it's way out on a highway, but why not just try to get the money before? I don't know. They returned to one, let's see, so it said, they returned to the stranded Cutlass, and the driver pulled in front of their car, probably to hide his tags from passing cars, police said. Then, while still sitting behind the wheel, the driver pulled a gun and demanded their wallets. So, but why take them back to their car? Why not drive them into the woods somewhere? Maybe it was to get them to relax to that point. Like they're just about to get out and then boom, he doesn't have to be driving. It's, yeah, because it would be hard to control 2 different people with a gun while driving yourself. So his only opportunity would be right when he got back and he can stop, pull out the gun. Now he can control the situation because the car's not moving. And maybe he just felt like that was his best shot, I guess. But man, that's just... Then, while still sitting behind the wheel, the driver pulled out a gun and demanded their wallets. He ordered the cousins to turn and walk away. When they did, the driver fired 1 shot into the back of Alex. Why did he do that? I mean, this guy seemed like there's something more going on. You know, Ricardo Garbizo fell to the ground and started rolling. So that's a survivor. He heard at least 3 more shots, but was never hit. The gunman, who never got out of the truck, is 30 to 34 years old, about 5 feet 8 inches tall. He weighs 160 to 180 pounds and has straight light brown hair and a light mustache. He drove a brown or dark red 1970 model full-size pickup truck. The paint on the exterior passenger door was scraped. The gunman told the cousins he was a surveyor who moved from Michigan. He had told them his telephone number, but Garbizo could only remember the last 2 digits. That probably wasn't his phone number, nor was he a surveyor. The robbers stole $500 cash. That's a lot of money. Back in '92. So it's possible, you know, maybe he got them to withdraw the money. The robbers stole $500 cash and a brown wallet containing Ricardo Garbizo's New York driver's license and a Chase Visa credit card. I wonder if that stuff's ever been used. And this is him right here, you know. Looks like he's got a mullet or a shadow on the wall. It's hard to tell. All right. And this is the last one. This one's from 1993, so a year later. So we'll just see what this one says. Yeah, and the sketch was, you know, and you look at the sketch, it's not bad, you know. I mean, the one the day before was clear, it looked like. Was it this one? Yeah, that was... Yeah, like even in this one, they already had the sketch right off the bat. What a piece. Let's see. What a piece. It says, what peace of mind there is for Ricardo Garbizo at this time of year comes down to this. The nightmares have ended. But all sleep prepares him for is another day of untangling the knots of his grief and fears. His second guesses the slightest gesture of strangers. He sees the lump that is his cousin dying in the dark in the grass along a road in a strange town. The strange town was this one a year ago. Everywhere else in Tampa, it was the loveliest night of the year, Christmas Eve. The late shift knocked off early, parents wrapped presents, kids fought off sleep, families went traveling. Alex and Ricardo Garbizo, cousins from New York, broke down near the end of their long drive to Naples to spend Christmas with Alex's mother. They were on Interstate 75 near Tampa Palms. A man driving a raggedy-looking old pickup came by, took them to a convenience store for transmission fluid, made small talk, mentioned something about marijuana. He said he used to live in Michigan. He noticed that Ricardo Garbizo spoke with an accent and asked him where he came from. Argentino, Ricardo Garbizo said. Argentina, I mean. He drove the two cousins back to their car. He gave Alex... see how there's always a little extra information in the next one? He gave Alex Garbizo his telephone number on a piece of paper. Then he pulled out a gun. And there's no way that was his actual phone number. Give me your wallet. You European son of a bitch, he said to Ricardo Garbizo. Weird. What's the matter with you, man? His cousin asked in amazement. See how much, there's way more detail in this one. I don't know, man. The man in the pickup said. What's the matter? He says, I don't know, man. So when the cousin asked, what's the matter with you? He says, I don't know, man. The man in the pickup said, I think I'm just going to shoot you. See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't read any of these. But this whole thing doesn't seem like it's just a robbery, does it? This seems like the robbery was just like, okay, you know, if you have, give me some money if you have it, but it was for, he just wanted to kill. It's crazy. I don't know, man. The man in the pickup said, I think I'm just going to shoot you. Then he told them to start walking because he aimed at Alex first. Ricardo had a chance to fall down in the dark and live to curse the madness and has broken loose in the world so that the murder... what does this say again? It's hard to read this shit. Trying to get too flowery. Then he told them to start walking. Because he aimed at Alex first, Ricardo had a chance to fall down in the dark and live to curse the madness that has broken loose in the world so that murder happens at random for no reason on the loveliest night of the year. This is no reason for dying, but Alex Garbizo's death had a message in it. It was a warning, really, of what was to come, what the madness would grow, spread right under our noses, right at the door. First, it was Christopher Wilson, another New Yorker snatched in Valrico and set afire on New Year's Day but at least he lived. The madness continued from Monticello to Miami. 10 foreign visitors were murdered. The last died in Tampa. Mehmet Bahar, a foreign exchange student, was beaten to death. The killing had come full circle back to the city where it began last December, but nobody seemed to notice. The list of tourists murdered never had Alex Garbizo's name on it. Last week, his mother could not speak about his death without sobbing. His sister's voice cracked with anger at the killer who had never been caught. His father was making plans for a memorial mass that will be celebrated for his dead son on Christmas Day in Long Island, New York. And Ricardo Garbizo, a 30-year-old architect who thought of becoming a U.S. citizen, was still considering moving back to Argentina. There's no place in America, he said, where he would feel safe. We all feel that way, don't we? The killer was a white man in his early 30s who may have had brown ponytail. He said he was a surveyor, drove an old red or brown pickup truck, probably hard to tell in the dark, with a noisy engine and lumber in the back. He could be anywhere, sheriff officials hunger for leads to find him. The more time passes, the harder it gets, but people care, and maybe somebody will call. Yes, people care. If there is any good to come of the death of Alex Garbizo and all the others, it is that we are getting sick of the violence. People who see it's been shitty for a long time. This isn't like new. People who say we should get rid of guns no longer get laughed at. Ministers are asking parents to stop giving their kids toy guns and gifts. I mean, see how long this whole gun thing's been going on? This is 93. There are tiny steps, yes, window dressings even, but what else is there to hold on to when there's so little peace left? And by the way, the shooter here, if you ban guns, he'd still have one. Yeah, that's the truth. So that's it for that one. Isn't that one crazy? I mean, I think if those were two girls, they would think it was a serial killer. Even if everything was exactly the same. I think this guy is something else other than just somebody robbing. Why wouldn't you just rob and just drive away and, I mean, you'd get away. Because look, they still haven't found the person. Even if they were there, oh yeah, the car looked like this, and it just, there was a survivor. There's no way this guy, he'd still be on the loose. So it seemed like he just wanted to kill for killing. Am I reliving my glory days? This must be another new account right here. I don't know, two birds, you sound like a lunatic. Where do these people come from? I can't see their comments, but how come they're... Oh, there they are. You sound like a nut job, two birds on the wire. You sound like a lunatic. Are you reliving your glory days? Well, what are you talking about? You sound like a crazy person. Oh, come on. Maps. Jeez. I do mapping on every single show that I do. So there's no glory days. Oh, the mapping glory days. Oh, wow. I do it on every single case. So you're either a troll or an idiot or somebody that never shows up. Okay, nobody knows. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of people. I almost ended the show. Like I was going to end the show. We were already on for like 30 minutes, struggling. Even after I said, "Hey, you guys, we can match. We get a matching on Rain, the dollar for dollar match." And I said, "Hey, I'd like to donate. Yeah, if we can get 500 in, I'll do 1,000." And we were still at like $30, and then Carl did a 20 membership, so I said, okay, you know what, I'll just donate the 500 anyways. And then all of a sudden, people started supporting the channel. Came in late, I guess. I don't know what was going on before. It seemed like nobody was really interested. Yeah. What does that mean? Nobody puts... I don't get it, man. Okay. Well, we could do like a random one if you guys want. I gotta load these things up over here. Do this. Yeah, some do. I think some, yeah, most of the people that get them are maybe people that wanted them. But look at this page right here. It's just thousands, and like every one of these is an unsolved. Well, some of them were recently solved, so they're still on there. But look at this. It's crazy. And they even have a database associated with it. Yeah, thanks to everybody who came in later and got us moving forward. Carl, Marty, Chris O'Connell. Then we also had the people at the very beginning. At least we had a few people. So we had Michelle H. and Bruce Holdaway were, you know, at least keeping us alive. Only 3 people supported the channel for like 45 minutes. And then, where was that? It was, oh yeah, that 21 doesn't show up in here for some reason. On my viewer activity, it doesn't. The one, I think it was Carl put 20 memberships in there originally, and that one doesn't show up. Not sure why, but. Yeah, Marty, why? Yeah. Are you available to be a member, Marty? Yeah. Or let's just do some random. Look at all these people, though. Isn't this just crazy? And most of these people never get talked about, or, you know, nobody's ever looking them up. And you have to sort of wait a while as it populates. You know, like here's one. Christina Lunsford from... Yeah, we could take a look at that one. Just randomly. Let's just see if it exists on newspapers.com. Type it in. Yeah, let's see. Christina Lunsford. That name's so unusual that I feel like just that alone should get something. Yep, and there it is to Boston. That's Massachusetts right there. And that was 2005. And that says June 2nd. That's April. So this one here is probably even like a little... Yeah, see, this is about her. Let's just sort of find the original one. So this one might have... Alright, so let's just do April 2005. Yeah, have we done that one? Let's see. No. Okay, and then the date on this is April 9th. So this is the 12th. So there might be something on the 10th, 11th, 12th. So the 12th is the first time anything shows up in the paper. Hey, look at that. Marty is a freak. You've always been a freak, though. Authorities identified missing woman's remains. A missing New Hampshire woman's skeletal remains were found Saturday near a school in Tingsboro. The state medical examiner used dental records to identify the body of Christina Lunsford, a 21-year-old resident of Nashua, New Hampshire, who was last seen August 1st. Huh. Well, that makes me want to go back. What happened? Let's see. How about 2004? Look at that. There you go. So this is even before. Here, let me just... gonna have to make a folder. This one looks like it might be mildly interesting. Christina Lunsford, 21. So this is when she was missing only. Police are asking for the public's help in finding a young woman who has been missing for 2 months, police said. Christina Lunsford, 21, was last seen August 1st. The woman has tattoos of hearts on her shoulder and arm. Hold on. Where did that folder go? I just made it. There it is. Alright. Put this one in there. That one's already in there. And then anything else? That was... Yeah, that's it. Alright, and then 2000... In April of 2005, so like 6-7 months later, and first ones are the 12th here, and so this says a missing New Hampshire woman skeletal remains were found Saturday near a school in Tingsboro. So where's that? You guys want me to do this, or you guys seem like nobody's typing or talking again? T-Y-N Burrow. And then let's see. School near. Okay, so maybe this like Little Angels Academy here. I mean, it's a guess. The body of Christina Lunsford, a 21-year-old resident of Nashua, was last seen August 1st. Her remains were discovered Saturday by people walking in the woods near Greater Lowell. Oh, okay, it's not where I have it. Greater Lowell Technical High School. It's probably not too far away from there. Right there. So it's near here. Do you guys want me to do this or not? Nobody responded when I asked. All right, so it said the state medical examiner used dental records to identify the body. Where was the school mentioned earlier, though? A missing New Hampshire woman's skeletal remains were found Saturday near a school. So that's the school her body was found near. No, I think it has the total on there, Carl. Yeah, it's on there. The total, like the total number. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. They're like right here. Look, see this? When I scroll down, these are right here. These are the different people, and then it was 5, 10. You know, like there you are on the 10. But you were like right away after these first ones. You did the 20, and it's not in there. However, it's part of the total. So, the total number showed up, but for some reason the I don't know, the reference to it in the thing where I can thank people at the end didn't have it. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's the total. It was part of the totals. I think. Let's see. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, 25, 30, 40, 50. Right. So there's only 50 showing in the individual breakdowns, but there's 71 over here on the total. So it's in there. I think it made it. All right. So anyways, her remains were discovered Saturday by people walking in the woods near Greater Lowell Technical High School in Tinsboro. Coakley spokeswoman Emily LaGrassa said Lunsford's body was apparently dumped in the woods. The cause of her death remains under investigation, but LaGrassa said it's being treated as a homicide. Here, her name's so unusual. Let me see if I can get it and see where she lived. It can't be more than one. Well, she was 21 years old, and so now she would be basically 42, maybe. I think I see her right here. Oh, she was one at the very top. That's pretty rare. Okay, so this has her living at 42 Gresham Avenue. I think right around here, I think. Yeah. Yep, very close. This is where she lived, all right at the time. All right, let's see what it looks like. So probably like in an apartment. It means under investigation. All right, let me move back. Then on the 15th, That's also the 12th, 12th, 12th. Then there's one on the 15th right here. Are you guys, you just seem like nobody's chatting though, you know? Like Marty typed in "Go Ahead Gray" about 10 minutes ago. So it gets really like I'm just, you know, nobody's really interested or anything because nobody's communicating. You know, you watch other live streams and people are talking and move, you know. Instead, it's just, I tell you guys this every damn show. I don't know what's that, why, you know, why the next show it's not different. Officials have few leads in Nashua homicide case. A skeleton and a cold trail aren't giving investigators much to go on as they try to find out who killed a young Nashua woman last summer. The body of Christine Lunsford, 20, was found last weekend in woods in Tinsboro, Massachusetts. She had been missing since August, and police believe she was killed around the same time of her disappearance. At the Middlesex District Attorney's Office, Massachusetts spokeswoman Emily LaGrassa called it a difficult investigation and said authorities don't know yet how Lunsford was killed. Investigators have been talking to people who knew Lunsford, including her boyfriend. And you notice how it didn't even pick up after I just said that. You guys are unreal. Man. I guess if we look at that, June, there's some more, anything else? So June 2nd, that's the, let's go to that one. So this might actually have a lot of information in it. I think it's a 2-pager. Right, but why don't you guys just chat about whatever? I'd rather have you do that than nothing. You know. All right, the knee-high, cross-covered in flowers, stands upright at the front of the driveway. The poster of a missing person, half-covered now, with a note of thanks. Let me move down here. Let's see. Strife has surrounded the Krejicics, I don't know what the term is there, a foreign exchange student from his native Croatia to Tewksbury. He grew up amid a war in Zagreb, the country capital, the fighting touching him only obliquely. He came to the United States seeking something different. He found it. He had come looking for an American experience. He got one. It wasn't the one he had hoped for. Living with a host family, devastated by the tragedy of a missing daughter, Krejic had to create his own order. Drama, graphic arts, tennis. This was what he wanted. This was convention. Then came the discovery of the body of Christina Lunsford, his host parent, grown daughter, out on her own 7 weeks ago. Like the war that brought his country notoriety in news broadcasts, the death wasn't his, insulated from the former and invested only peripherally in the later. He could only offer sympathy, not empathy. I'm looking for the facts of the case. Let me see if I can go back. Yeah, it's more or less about the war and stuff. That's not what I'm more. I just want to find out what's going on. If they've figured out anything. Let's see, 2006. Looks like they're in that. Maybe. That's a different person. And I'm going to go 2007 to 2020. I mean, that's, okay, that one's probably one there. Maybe. No, it's not. That's another person with that name, if you can believe that. That's just crazy. Spelled that same way. Yeah. Well, I guess that's, I don't know, man. Is there anything else? Let me type in here. Who killed Christina Lunsford? What's this? Oh man, I wanted to read this one. Darn it. God. Ah. Hey, maybe I can grab it fast enough. Let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see if I got that. I might have picked it up just fast enough. Okay, I gotta do it again. Okay, looks like I kind of caught it that time. Christina Lunsford's boyfriend yesterday denied being involved in her death and said he passed a lie detector test. Larry something of 58 Vine Street said he does not know how Lunsford died. I was shocked when the cops told me she was dead, he said. I was glad when they said they found her, but then they said she was dead, and I was like, what? A couple looking for edible ferns found Lunsford's skeletal remains in the woods across from Greater Lowell Technical High School. It is unclear how long she had been lying wrapped in a blanket at the bottom of a steep embankment near the Merrimack River. Yeah, glad I got that one. That has a hell of a lot more information. So this is the wooded area, and the river's right there, so probably in here. And there's a bank, and that's probably where she was hidden, inside of there. I guess we could go down to street view in here. Wow, so that's probably the road he took even to kill her. Just drove right down this. And where does it come out? And probably somewhere around here. And put her body back down where there's a bank over there. Okay, a couple looking for edible ferns found Lunsford's skeletal remains in the woods across from Greater Lowell Technical High School. It's unclear how long she had been lying wrapped in a blanket. Police are investigating the death. It was the bottom of a steep embankment near the river. Police are investigating the death as a homicide, even though there are no signs she was shot or strangled. Right, well maybe she was suffocated. The boyfriend sat in his living room talking about his former fiancée. They met at the Lowell bar, Captain John's, about 8 months before she disappeared. The boyfriend, who immigrated from Kenya 8 years ago, dated Lunsford's sister Janelle in 2000, but they broke up before his relationship with Lunsford began. They moved from Baker Avenue into the 2-bedroom apartment just 3 days before Lunsford disappeared. They moved from Baker. Let's see what I have her at. Is this Baker? That's Crawford Street. So that's probably where, that might be where both of them were living. They moved from Baker Avenue into the 2-bedroom apartment just 3 days before Lunsford disappeared. She left home for work at about 6 a.m. and he left for work as a nurse's aide at Tewksbury Hospital about 3 p.m. on August 3rd, he said. Lunsford was gone when he arrived home at about 12:45 a.m. We just moved in here for like 3 days. Then when I came in from work the third day, she wasn't here and her clothes weren't there, he said. I figured she went to her sister's home. Lunsford had left for about, let's see, what does that say? We just moved in here for like 3 days, and when I came in from work the third day, she wasn't here and her clothes weren't here. Her clothes? What do you mean? I figured she went to her sister's. Uh-oh. That's not good news. You know, that's not good. That's not good for him. That's like, why would she... Yeah, if everything was great, you know, all of a sudden she takes all this crap, or she was, you know, I guess the other angle is she was leaving with somebody else, but that person would have been, like, excited to be with her. But the fact that maybe she took her clothes, that's not good. That makes it sound like that's probably why they were thinking he may have been involved. That's why I needed to read that part again. Lunsford had left for about a week in June of 2004, so he wasn't worried and didn't report her disappearance to police. Okay. Right. That's bullshit. I think she was probably going to leave him or something. I mean, come on. She left a week before, so she never reported her missing, even after all that time. Come on. Yeah, it's 10 over here. I have nothing to hide, he said. I'm glad she's found. I don't have anything to worry about anymore. When Nashua, what do you mean you don't have anything to worry about anymore? It wasn't until Janelle came to the apartment August 19th. So on August 3rd, this guy came home and she wasn't around. His girlfriend, fiance. And then on the 19th, Janelle came to the apartment August 19th looking for Lunsford, and he realized she was missing. Wow, really? So your fiance, somebody you're going to marry, she's been missing. She's not at home for 16 days, and you don't ask around or call anybody, and it wasn't until this other family member or friend or whatever came by the apartment on the 19th. Then you went, oh, wow, she must be missing. That's just, yeah, no way. Okay, no way, man. I have nothing to hide, he said. I'm glad she's found. I don't have anything to worry about anymore. Why would you say that? What, did you have something to worry about before? When Nashua police and Massachusetts state troopers arrived at Tewksbury Hospital, he agreed to go to Lowell Police Station for questioning Monday, according to him. He said he passed the polygraph test at the police station, but officers realized he had a default warrant, and he was arrested. The warrant out of Lowell District Court were related to assault. Oh my God, there we go, and battery, and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon charges, according to district. Yeah, he did it. Okay, they just can't prove it. I mean, this is just, this is one of those ones, really obvious. Lunsford was not the victim of the assault charges, which were not domestic in nature. So what? A spokesman for the district attorney's office said they could not comment on the result of the polygraph and could not confirm nor deny the boyfriend's claim that he passed it. The boyfriend said the warrants were issued because there was confusion over when he was supposed to go to Lowell District Court for a hearing. Yeah, well, there you go. That was a good little extra pickup of an article there. Let's see, who... There we go, let's try that again. The suspicious death of... There's a podcast on it. Walked into her parents' home beaming with excitement. She had just signed the lease. And there's another one. Is this an article? Dark New England Down. In her latest investigative episode of Dark Down East, journalist and host Kylie Lowe uncovered new details in the suspicious death of 20-year-old Christina Lunsford, whose body was found wrapped in a comforter along the Merrimack River in... Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with the comforter. Where did the comforter come from? You know, that comforter is probably the key to the case. I mean, if, like, you look at it and the comforter's from the house, I guess you could say somebody did something to her in the house while the other guy was at work and then used the comforter, and, of course, his hairs and things would be on it. But, man, that's... The 2004 case remains unsolved to this day, using nearly 250 pages of unreleased police case files. Lowell retraces Lunsford's final days and the troubling investigation that followed. The episode includes exclusive interviews with Lunsford's mother, Michelle, who reveals painful memories. She didn't move out, Michelle said of the episode. Those photo albums police found in that apartment, she would not go anywhere without those. That was her whole life, from the time she was 3 until she was 20. Right, so maybe she wasn't moving, but he wanted to make it look like she left, so he took some of her clothes and hid it, threw them in a dumpster somewhere and said, look, she took her clothes. I thought she left on her own. I don't know what happened to her after that. So either way, it's just this guy... Despite multiple investigations across state lines and decades of silence from key witnesses, Lunsford's death remains unsolved. Lowe's reporting exposes new connections, inconsistencies in earlier police work, and a renewed call to action for a case that's been stagnant for nearly 21 years. This is November 10th of this year. Isn't that just totally random? You pick up... a case like that. Gigawatts. Thank you, Jim Lawn. She just signed a lease. I'm going to have to go listen to that. Maybe I'll go listen to that podcast. All right, let's see. Okay, let's just do another random one here. I'm going to go like this. See, all these things. Looks like these ones. There we go. All these people. Let's see if any of them just show up. All right. So the first person to say the word stop, I'll stop the screen. All right. When I see it. Nope, Michelle H typed it in. All right, now I'm just going to close my eyes and click on the screen. Which one am I closest to? It was this one right there. Bridget Guerin, 2007. Let's see. See what happens on that one. I mean, these are, like, nobody's ever going to cover these. I mean, you know, it might be a podcast or something, but... Alright, let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm just guessing that this will have... So that's her.
Gigawatts. What the hell is a gigawatt?
There you go, Jim. All right, here we go again. Her name's not really that common either. I mean, how many Bridget Guerins would there possibly be? I mean, and that's cool. I don't know if you guys ever use newspapers.com, but I have the professional version. And if you put quotes around it, that means it has to be in that order somewhere. So if I hit that, and this shows, this is 2007. And what, yeah, this is in Texas, so it's got to be related. So let's put 2007 first. Okay, and then she was actually July 15th. So we'll put July 2007. And there's a 17th. So she was assaulted. A 28-year-old mother who's beaten. A body was found by campers on a popular stretch of beach near Galveston. Was brutally sexually assaulted, the Galveston County Medical Examiner's Office said Monday. Bridget Lynn Guerin of Orange also had been strangled, but medical examiners had not determined whether that was the cause of death. All right, I'll be back here in a second. Hold on, I was trying to play something else. Where is that? if anybody's out there, you want to help support the channel, we have a massive lull going on. We've only got $21 in super chats, but we got a lot of gifted memberships. But it'd be nice to have reached that amount, the 500, because then I'm only out $150 for the. But we also got doubled up. When we sent 500 to Rain earlier, we got they matched dollar for dollar. So it was basically the same as sending in 1,000. But if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be fantastic. Massive lull is what it's called. So Garen disappeared late night around the time she and some friends staying at the beach house were leaving to take a late night drive. She walked outside first, but was gone a few minutes later when her friends left the house to join her. Campers found her body Sunday morning about 100 yards from the beach where she and her two-year-old daughter were staying. Let's see. I gotta throw this one in there. There. I guess I just had a small window. Thanks, Lisa. What beach, though? On a popular stretch of a beach near Galveston. Okay, well, let's just get to Galveston, Texas. Okay, so here's Galveston. I'm sure that gets hurricanes. There we go. Campers found her body Sunday morning about 100 yards from the beach house where she and her 2-year-old daughter were staying. Investigators are unsure whether Guerin knew her killer or was abducted by a stranger. We're still kind of torn on whether this was a random act or someone who knew her. The beach is known for locals as the zoo because tourists are known to throw loud parties. Underage drinking is sometimes a problem, but violent crime is unusual. The last murder investigation in... Okay, now it's Crystal Beach. Is that... Where is it? That's over there? I don't think that's just the area, I think. Last murder investigation in Crystal Beach was 2004 when a store clerk was shot during a robbery. During the holidays, it is a bit rowdy, but it's really unusual for someone to get murdered, Crystal Beach resident Johnny Dennis said. I was shocked. Let's see if they give us better information on another. It's the 17th, 18th. That's an obituary, so that's not gonna...
Ocean wave emoji, ocean wave emoji, ocean wave emoji, cool face emoji, surfer emoji.
So she was killed by beating on an orange woman whose body was found on Crystal Beach, died of strangulation and blunt force trauma. But up there it says beating killed. So Bridget Lynn Guerin, 28, sexually assaulted, beaten, and strangled before her body was discovered at about 6:30 a.m. Sunday near the water, about 100 yards from the beach house where she had been staying. Said the autopsy showed that Guerin was struck in the head and face by an unknown object or objects. Hey, thanks, Michelle H. Guerin and her 2-year-old daughter had been staying with friends at the beach house when she stepped outside just ahead of others in her party just before midnight Saturday, and vanished. So let's see, let me read that again. Guerin and her 2-year-old daughter had been staying with friends at the beach house when she stepped outside just ahead of others in her party just before midnight Saturday and vanished. I mean, that's a terrible sentence. Police have no suspects. A $5,000 reward is being offered. All right. So that was the 19th. Anything else? 20th. So there's one on the 20th. We should not have to be here. More than 100 of Bridget Guerin's family members and friends gathered Thursday morning at Dorman Funeral Home. We should not have to be here, said Reverend Ed Ruiz. The gold and white casket covered in pink. Let's see. The funeral program contained a poem written by Guerin's mother, Pam Kimball. In it, she wrote, I don't know what I would have done without my precious baby girl. You are still a very real blessing in my life. I love you very much, and I'm so proud of you and your baby girl. Stephen Mayfield, who worked with her at Provost Humphrey Law Firm, told of the times they had emailed back and forth exchanging case information. She once sent me an email and said she was sorry if it sounded like she was fussing at me, Mayfield said. I didn't take it as if she was fussing at me at all. Donald Rhodes Jr. also... I just want to see if they get to the... Let's see, that's page 2, so we got to go to 5. And here's Guerin. Oh, right there. Oh, that sucks. Look at it right there. Okay, let me... Is there another version of it? Sometimes they have a second. Ah, it's the only one. Man, that's brutal. Guerin 28 was spending. Ah, it's all right there. The part that's blurred out. They actually have a thing that you can... 20th, 21. They have one on the 21st also. That's when I see if they can give us more specific information. Additional information. According to reports, after additional examination, it is believed that Guerin struggled with her killer. The detectives suspect the assailant may display some injuries, such as scratches, bruises, or maybe some bite marks. However, information available is not clear enough to indicate the potential level of the location of any such injuries. We want to see this solved. Guerin was spending last weekend with 4 couples, that's more information, and their children at a rental beach house near God, don't have this one blur out again. Okay, near the intersection, there we go, see, isn't that amazing? You just finally get something near the intersection of Redfish Road and Crystal Beach Road. Oh, so I guess it wasn't right there. It was over here. Well, Galveston, maybe this whole area is part of that. So she was right on the beach, basically. So one of these homes, you know, I wonder if it's that one. Where the heck? Oh, there it is, that one. Okay, Garen was spending last weekend with 4 couples and their children at a rental beach house near, so it's right there. The intersection of Redfish Road and Crystal Beach. Okay, stayed here with 4 couples. And kids. So she was only found 100 yards away on the beach. So if you were just gonna kind of go like this, like that, and how many yards? Let's just do yards. I mean, it wasn't far at all. That's 270. So it's gonna be something not even that far. That's 100 yards right there. So it's that close to where she was, just like right around the corner on the beach. Like she just walks out to the beach and somebody attacks her. That's crazy. All right, the group decided to go out for a late night ride on the beach around midnight. Garen walked out of the house a few minutes before her friends and disappeared. I think this is just some random person there. She went out probably to have a cigarette or whatever the hell, just about 6 a.m. Sunday, people camping on the beach near Monkhouse Road. Okay, let's see where that is. Monkhouse Road. Oh, so right there. So it's not 100 yards. It's more than 100 yards. But these are witnesses. We're right there. Oh, look at that. They drove out on the beach. So they were right in this area here. This is 2008. Really, this is only a year later. This shot right here. I mean, this is crazy, right? Look at, we got Street View 1 year after. Right there. That's kind of what it looked like. And this is 10 months later. So they were just camping right around here. And they were staying... Let's see if they have that same situation here. 2008, yep. So they were just staying right up there, and she came down here and then somehow got abducted and killed. Alright, so let's see. At about 6 a.m. Sunday, people camping on the beach near Monkhouse Road found Garen's body lying on the sand near the water's edge. Her death was ruled a homicide caused by manual strangulation and blunt force trauma. She was a victim of a sexual assault. Well, they've got to have the DNA then. This happened in 2007. The Bolivar Peninsula Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors has met with other business owners and collected $5,000 for a reward. let's see, 21. Yeah, there's one on the 25th here, I think. Yeah, that's family of slain woman asks for help. Investigators also are asking for photos of videos that were taken on Crystal Beach on July 14th through the 15th. Guerin, a legal secretary, and her 2-year-old daughter, Kira, were staying with friends at a beach house on Crystal Beach on July 14th when Guerin walked outside a little more than a minute ahead of her friends at 11:56 p.m. The friends heard a gate at the top of the stairs close. Okay, hold on. We might be able to figure out which one of these has a stairs with gates. Ah, see, then we got to the more recent time. Minka, that looks totally different. Yeah, they put them on. People like retrofitted. I mean, that doesn't look this. That looks much higher in the air, but it could just look that way. So a gate. I bet it's just one of these two right here. And then she just walks right down here, just like that. Babe, see, don't you just love these old cases like this? In terms of interesting, you know? Like, they just seem to put more information in the article. Even though this is 2007, it's still not like today. Yeah, so she went outside, and then the friends heard a gate at the top of the stairs close, and she was gone by the time they reached the bottom of the steps. It happened in a minute and a half. Campers discovered Guerin's body at about 6:30 a.m. The autopsy showed she had been sexually assaulted, beaten, and strangled, but investigators believe she put up a fight. Investigators are waiting for DNA test results. Hansen said it was likely a crime of opportunity. Guerin was in the wrong place at the wrong time, which means it could happen to somebody else. Yeah, and those are the serial killer types right there, you know? That's the 25th. And what was that? Jimmy Guerin Center, grandfather of Bridget Guerin, is comforted by the FBI agent Willie Session as his granddaughter-in-law Amanda Goodson during a press conference Tuesday at the Galveston County Sheriff's Office. And these people still don't have answers. 26th. Yeah, this is a pretty highly covered case here. Police help sought in beach slang. Bridget Lynn Guerin disappeared late July 14th around the time she and some friends staying at the beach house were leaving to take a late-night drive. Campers found her beaten and strangled body in the Crystal Beach surf early the next morning. Family members joined the investigators at a news conference Tuesday. On the night she disappeared, Guerin stepped outside the beach house alone. Her friends inside the house heard her shut the door, then the opening and closing of a rusty gate. She vanished in the 90 seconds it took her friends to follow her outside. That's wild. The brutality of Guerin's death suggests it was not the killer's first crime. Investigators have ruled out several suspects leading... Man, what a... Yeah, Rex Schuerman, for God's sakes. Maybe that guy was in there. Investigators are asking for people to... I'm sure it wasn't him, but everyone would have seen him. Investigators are asking for people to submit photos or videos that were taken. 26th, 27th. All right, let's see. Page 5. The cabin where Guerin was staying, was on a road filled with beach houses that leads to an even busier part of the beach. Any forensic evidence collected will be sent to DPS. After additional examination of Guerin's body, it was believed she struggled. Somebody out there knows something. Guerin was staying at a rented beach house near the intersection of Redfish Road and Crystal Beach. The group decided to go out for a late night ride on the beach around midnight. Guerin walked out of the house a few minutes before her friends and disappeared. About 6 a.m. Sunday, people camping on the beach near Monkhouse Road found Guerin's body lying on the sand near the water's edge. Yeah, so she was actually found, like, Crystal Beach spot. Why does it say that there? Like over here. Something like that. Crystal Beach spot. What is it? What is that? I mean, there's no real reason. Just she was staying at a rented house near the intersection. The group decided to go out for a late night ride on the beach around midnight. Guerin walked out of the house a few minutes before her friends and disappeared. About 6 a.m. Sunday, people camping on the beach near Monkhouse Road found Guerin's body lying on the sand near the water's edge. Man, this is you know, one of those classic cold case serial killer type. July 27th, 28th. And they have articles every single day. Before a witness saw a woman getting... Oh, come on, no way. Witnesses say they saw an orange woman. I think that means Orange County. Who was... I'm sure it's not Donald Trump's... I'm just kidding. Orange man bad. Remember that shit? Witnesses say they saw an orange woman who was savagely beaten, sexually assaulted, and strangled on the Bolivar Peninsula 2 weeks ago get into a sport utility vehicle the night she disappeared. That just doesn't sound legit. The new information was the first tangible evidence so far in an investigation that until now has unearthed few clues despite the unusual number of detectives. Investigators believe a newer model, small to mid-size four-door SUV, dark blue, gray, or black, may be tied to the slaying of Bridget Lynn Guerin. The SUV has a tire mounted on the rear, center brake light. So multiple witnesses. Witnesses saw Guerin get into the back seat of the SUV in the vicinity of the beach house where, okay, well, that's interesting. But then they dropped her off right down, I mean, that close back to the house. Witnesses saw Guerin get into the back seat of the SUV in the vicinity of the beach house where she and her 2-year-old daughter were staying with friends. Campers discovered Guerin's battered body in the surf about 6 a.m. July 15th, about 100 yards from the beach house. That's not accurate, that part. Guerin's friends last saw her as she stepped outside the beach house of their July 14th, just before midnight. She was gone by the time the friends went outside 90 seconds later. The witnesses' statements But did anybody hear a car, though? These people inside that heard the gates and everything? The witnesses' statements that Guerin entered the back seat of the SUV. Well, that's interesting. That's sort of like a gun. Bolstered investigators' suspicion that more than one person was involved in the slaying. Investigators want to speak to anyone who may have seen the SUV in the Crystal Beach area on July 14th. And then it says reports of screams. Tutolmando said a phone tip led to witnesses who saw Guerin near the SUV during the 90 seconds. Wow, in that little time between her leaving the beach house and her friends going outside. He said the witnesses were unable to say whether she had been forced into the car. The witnesses told investigators that they heard screams in the area, but could not say whether they were related to the slaying. Businesses and residents on the Bolivar Peninsula have increased. Man, that's crazy. Just got kind of nutty. #29. Yeah, she was pretty. Alright, so this is a pretty decent one here. Let me go to so it's B1. What is this? B7. So like 31 maybe. Yeah, right there. To her family, she was bridge. But come on, you guys, these lulls are killing me. Let's see if we can get some support for the channel. We're going on many, like 40 minutes now. To her family, she was Bridge, a one-time tomboy who swung endlessly beneath her grandpa's pecan tree. At 28, Bridget Guerin had become the doting mother of a 2-year-old girl, more concerned with things like life insurance and a will than romance. She said men were too much trouble, said younger brother Jimmy Goodson. To Galveston County detectives, she is the subject of an intense investigation into one of the most savage homicides in decades. After she was sexually assaulted, battered, and strangled, her nearly naked body was left on the shoreline of Crystal Beach, where it was found around 6 a.m. July 15th. See if we can get another challenge going, you guys. She died a miserable death, a violent death, said Galveston County Sheriff Lieutenant Tommy Hansen, lead investigator in the case. On something like this, you're fearful of the motive. There it is. Okay. Person or persons may have done this before and may do it again. In most sexual assaults, the event itself is purely degrading for the victim, mentally and physically. What makes this one different is they went to the next level. There was a lot of violence and force used. The assault could have lasted for up to 2 hours, said Major Ray Tutolmando. He said the FBI is researching whether the case is similar to others in the nation, but emphasized there is no evidence of a serial killer. Investigators got their biggest break Thursday. A witness said Guerin got into the rear of the SUV, described as a dark gray, black or blue, small, mid-size, with very dark tinted windows, as in a limousine. Nobody's going to do a challenge of some sort. A blue, small or mid-sized with very dark tinted windows. as like a limousine. It has a spare tire rack on the rear and third brake light above the back window. Authorities will continue trying to determine who rented beach houses in Crystal Beach area, very, very popular with tourists. Officials also are waiting on lab results from samples of what appear to be blood collected from 2 locations, inside a nearby beach house and on the beach itself. Telemundo emphasized they don't know if there is any connection. 11 investigators from the sheriff's office and others from the FBI are unsure how events unfolded, but evidence gathered the last 2 weeks has them leaning towards a crime of opportunity committed by at least 2 people, probably, well, they collected DNA. I don't know. They haven't said that or not. I'm just trying to get through this. It's hard to do these shows when you're just doing shows for hours. You're just spinning wheels, Let's see. At least 2 people, probably from Houston, Beaumont, Port Authority, Orange. Officials said they believe Guerin probably did not know her killer or killers. FBI is unsure how the events unfolded, but evidence gathered the last 2 weeks has them leaning towards a crime of opportunity committed by at least 2 people. Guerin, who had been vacationing and partying with friends, walked down the steps of the beach house shortly before midnight to join friends for a beach drive. Guerin's daughter lay asleep upstairs under the water, under the watch of friends' teenagers. Man, that's just... By the time a friend followed her down to the beach, about a minute later, Guerin had vanished. Investigators learned only a couple days ago that a couple of people enjoying a bonfire on the beach had noticed a woman just a few yards from the beach house. And I bet it wasn't 90 seconds later. Like people say, oh yeah, she left and then we left. I bet it could have been 5 minutes, Investigators learned only a couple days ago that a group of people enjoying bonfire on the beach had noticed a woman just a few yards from the beach house get into the back passenger seat of the suspect vehicle around midnight. They heard a woman screaming from the area. Because that side of the car was screened from the witnesses' view, they are unsure if she was forced into the car. After realizing she was missing, Guerin's friends looked all over for her and called the local hospital and jail. So it's almost like somebody put her body later on the same beach. By the time they alerted authorities, Guerin's body, clad only in a red halter top, had been discovered by campers. It had rained that night, potentially compromising evidence. Everyone inside the beach house was questioned, and all their time was accounted for. Investigators don't know where the crime happened, but they believe it was someplace other than where her body was found. Over the last 2 weeks, investigators have questioned and cleared at least 4 suspects, including a man on the beach who had yelled vulgarities at Guerin, a man who had been released from jail, and a man she knew through work. Guerin, who was estranged from her father and lived with her grandfather, whose name she took years ago. She and her daughter, Kira, had shared a large bedroom which was lined with toys, books, and all things pink. Or maybe we'll just... I don't know. I gotta get going. So let's see. Who killed Bridget Guerin? It's gotta be more recent stuff. This is a big story. So it's still unsolved in 2004. Can I get this one? Jesus. Man. should be illegal almost. It's like, you got to miss it. This case, it's cold. And detectives have a person of interest in the 2007. Anyways, yeah, seems like a pretty interesting one. I'd like to stay on, but just can't afford it. So thanks, everybody. We will see you guys another time. Maybe I'll put this all together in something bigger. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Looks like it just keeps going on and on and on. So I'm going to have to put it all together, and maybe we'll go over it another time. But thanks for being here, you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know. I think people just pretend when they say they thought it was interesting. They're not commenting as it's going. Yeah, every one of these damn things is a paywall, It's crazy. Look at that. Yeah, man, you'd think they'd have some sort of DNA. All right. Let me hit save there. Yeah, it sounds like that's a legitimate, that SUV. So it must have been right there or something, and then her body's found over there. And they said that she was in a... Maybe it's right here. Not, So we could go take this and move this all the way down to there. It's one of these houses. And then it's obviously this direction. And that's 71 yards. And that's 100. So that's getting closer over here, But... Yeah, I think so. Looks like it's one of these two. It's hard to say which one is which. Yeah, there's this one's been rebuilt or whatever, but there's these stairs here, and it's probably just one of that. There isn't one there. Well, there was one there this time, so it could be this one, or that one. And it really doesn't matter. It's they left, and apparently an SUV picked them up. All right. Well, thanks to Michelle H., Bruce, Mary Lou, Bruce Holdaway, then Michelle H., Bruce Holdaway again, and then Michelle H., then Linda Howell, and Jeff Neo, and then we had... Oh, there's Carl shows up now. The 20 gifted membership. And I was just about to end the show right there because we were just, I was trying to do something where we could donate $500 to Rain to they match it. So it was $1,000. And then nobody was here supporting the channel, so I was about to leave. And then Carl sent the 20 memberships in, so I stayed for a couple minutes. And then all of a sudden, Crystal O'Connell gifted 5. Then we had Carl gifted 10 more. Then Crystal O'Connell gifted 5 again. Then Roger Smith, and then Carl gifted 5, and then Bad Juju matching. There was a matching thing. Gifted 10, and then Marty's Bar and Grill gifted 10 and became a new member. And then that was at 9:36. And then 10:04, Jim Lawn 10:14. Lisa, Michelle H at 10:17, and now it's 10:52. So it was like a 40 minutes of just struggling. So we're just trying to end the year on a, upswing slightly. If we can do that, that'd be great. Yeah, I might look into this one more, get a full story, but I think we have all the parts that are known at this point in the public. Maybe there's a podcast or something, but it's pretty wild. Like, her body was found right over here. Then she's abducted over here, so the killers took her somewhere and then put her back here and then drove away somewhere. So they might not even be from here at all. But why did they put her back there again? Maybe just so it's not anywhere near them. It kind of throws things off, It's pretty weird. Anyways, thanks, freaks, for helping us reach the goal. We did donate $500 to Rain tonight. So really, they matched 500 of it, so it's 1,000 to Rain. Pretty appropriate for this case. And the first one we talked about. So thanks, you guys. See you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. No problem.
True crime thing for quite a while now.
Oh, and thanks, Lisa,
and during
for
this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Thanks, Lisa, for the coffee.
Crime dissector, like rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a cop protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a typical conjecture. I have no agenda, I'm a pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Not wild.
Yeah,
Just
so I'll
all
just get
these
right back to
people.
work. All right, everybody.
They're not solved. None of these. Ding, 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 ding. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I think I did that one. That was just random. That page, and then we just clicked on it. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. All right, well, anyways, thanks, everybody. Appreciate your support. We'll see you tomorrow, and be safe out there.